Hello and welcome to today's program of Mind Your English with Shabnam Riaz
and Fahim Bangish, of course. And today's program is yet again another very exciting and a very cool program, because in every program we come up with something or the other which is different from the previous program. And today we have guests, and as we get the feedback that you people should call guests in your program, because that makes the program more spicy, more fun to watch. And so, keeping that into consideration, we have guests today, and our guests are...
Well, our guests we have Huma with us, who's a very well-known television personality. She's been with PTV and she's been on the news, and so she's very well known. Lovely to have you here today, Huma.
Thank you, Shabnam. Thank you.
And next to Huma, we have Fahim.
Yes, we have Aryan with us, and he is also, he works at our...
He's had lots of experience, as he was telling us, modelling as well, acting as well.
Oh yes, in Pashto TV, and
yeah,
well,
and
of course,
news experience
coming
as well.
On television is not a small thing. I mean, yes,
definitely. So Aryan, so nice to have you as well on the show.
Thank you for calling.
Right, so today's program, we have lots that we want to talk about, and let's start with Huma. Huma, what do you think? You know, this sort of a program, what can it do for people? How can it help them? Because we're getting really good feedback, and you know, there's so much that they're saying that they're learning.
Right.
Where do you think the real, difficulties lie, and how can we cater more to people's problems?
Yeah, well, personally, I think that many people would love to be, very fluent in English, and they go and take English classes, and so as to express themselves better. And it's not like I say, until you start really speaking in English and interacting with other people in English do you really get the hold of it. And so I think that they should try and speak more. And like in your programs you try to get their pronunciations right, which sometimes they say something and you don't know what they've said, and it's like
That's true, that's true.
So I think this is a very good program, that people can learn, and people can, because otherwise mostly in classes also you go and then stay there for an hour or two, and then you come back home, and then of course where do you get to really practice?
And people are paying a lot of money to go to spoken English classes or workshops or whatever to enhance their skills. Sometimes they're not getting their money's worth.
Right.
Exactly,
right.
Because you see, they don't get to speak with people. We don't have that environment.
Because that usually, as you were saying, Fahim, that sometimes has that, business-like proposition to it. So what exactly is happening is that people are going away, and you have these fantastic adverts where they say, learn English, become a master of English in 3 days or 3 months or 2 months. And when you go away from this course, you're supposed to be, all your problems are solved. And what happens usually is those people, when they're taking those classes or they're there, they think, we are learning something, but then when they come away from that and they're separated, then all of a sudden they find they're back to square one. Aryan, what do you think?
Really, that's the problem. When they come to practical field, that they don't know how to speak, what to speak, and how to deal with people. Because every language need 4 skills. That may be writing skill, reading skill, speaking skill, and listening skill. But most of the time in these centers, in these academies, they do not teach such kind of thing. They just teach some simple things, and they take a lot of money from them. But when the people come, that's just for 1 hour or 2 hours in a day. But in 24 hours or 22 hours, they have to speak their own local language.
So you, as an individual, you've been working here and there. So what problems or challenges do you feel while speaking to others? And if somebody just comes up to you and speaks to you in English, so do you feel that as a challenge, or do you feel shy or underconfident for that matter? Because many people do so.
This is a problem everyone faces, and even I face this problem. The reason is that we have learned English from not a native person, the person whose mother tongue is English. We have learned the English from person who speaks either my Urdu language or Pashto language or other language.
Where did you learn your English?
I have learned that's a district, Job district. It's in Balochistan, Quetta. I have learned from that district, or there my teacher.
he was also Pashto speaking, and his accent was the same. So he himself had learned this English from someone who was not English person. He was not a native speaker. So that's why his accent was the same, and I learned the same.
You were learning his accent. That's a very good point.
That's the point. So most of the people who learn English in these centers, but the teachers who teach them English, they are not native speakers, and the reason is that when they come out, they speak, they feel this problem, pronunciation problem, especially intonations, accent. That's the biggest problem. Even you can see people who can write better English.
Exactly.
In
fact, that's a very common problem, that you have people who are so comfortable with writing, but when it comes for them to speak, and then they just don't want to, they close up. And they're like, okay, we'd rather do something else, or they have so much information that they can share, but they're hesitant because they
don't know how to express it. Yes, they don't have the words and vocabulary.
The thing is, I think it's got to do with mostly these private schools also, where the medium of instruction, it's in English. Where now, before there used to be very few schools in which it was where English was stressed upon, or the students were very I would say more good in speaking in English. It was because mostly they were Urdu medium schools, but then after this the other schools that opened up, like City School, Beacon House, and many other schools. So now this generation is more able to speak, much better.
So then,
but I don't know about their writing skills.
Yeah,
they can express
that's also
themselves.
a paradox, though, isn't it? Because what has happened is we've created this huge divide.
Exactly.
We have the English medium school children who are happy and they're confident and they're doing wonderfully. But then we have all the other children,
the others who have to go an extra mile,
to that atmosphere and that environment. So for them, it's just so hard because they now have to sort of compete. I mean, I've been to lots of debating competitions as a judge, and you can see the difference there. You have the children who come from the private schools, you have the children who are coming from these English, centered schools, and their English, of course, is of a different standard to the children who are not in these sort of schools. How do we address this issue?
The issue is that our education system that has been divided. There, even I say that there are two or three types of education. For example, in government schools, just they teach English after 6th or 7th class. So how can a person, a boy that comes after 6th class, he starts
that is such a relevant point.
So
why not
a boy that
start
starts from the beginning, from the first class? How we can compare this boy students with the students that starts English from the 6th class? So there's big difference over there.
And the second, Urdu, English, Pashto, Punjabi, that you're going to learn anyway. Automatically.
Not even these languages, even Arabic. You have to learn Arabic from the 6th class. Now that child becomes confused, completely confused. That what should I learn? For example, at home,
he's speaking another language.
When he comes to school, his teacher say that this word or this thing in English we call this, and in Urdu we call this, and in his native language at home
they call it something else.
They have another name for that thing. So that child becomes confused.
All of a sudden when he comes to grade 6.
Confused. That's why they are facing problems.
And there's another thing about this, I think they may be having some sort of an inferiority complex also because of that.
Of course.
This segregation of these, the crowd where when they know that they can, interact, and they feel that they are more superior, while the ones who cannot feel inferior.
Yes,
to
because I've been to such gatherings where I've actually observed such people who cannot converse in English properly, and they just distance themselves from the others. Yeah,
just
they close
their
up.
Parents don't have enough money to put them in. So that's why there should be a uniform, system of education where all the children are provided at least this basic, English, because as they will be going into universities and higher colleges, they will be needing English.
That's exactly
so
the whole
point.
And
in the universities you have all sorts of crowds.
That is exactly the whole point. And we've had guests on the show who have said this, and they have said that because before we went to university, we were not confident in our English skills. When we all of a sudden came to university and we had all those people from different backgrounds, when we were all together, we found that we were at a disadvantage.
Right.
And they had to work extra hard.
They had to
And
go
they
the
had
extra mile.
an
yes.
extra burden on them to, you know, get through the degrees that whatever they had to do. So, you know, this is what we try to promote in this program, is that the importance of getting, well, you know, it's never too late to learn, but the importance of getting the skill and getting yourself comfortable and being able to express yourself. It will come in handy sometime, you know,
And
or the
besides,
other.
Shabnam, people often ask how to improve grammar, how to improve their spoken English. I mean, just watch television, watch movies. I remember our teacher saying, read and watch and observe. Because if you watch movies or films, as the British people call it, yes. So if you watch it for the sake of entertainment, you just, I mean, that would be of no advantage to you. But if you watch and observe how the people are speaking, how the native speakers are speaking, so it would be like being in their own land.
Yes, yes.
Being
Well,
in-
I watch usually, you know, those action-filled movies.
Yeah.
So then I know just the, you know, the language of action, you know, all the guns and the bombs and the missiles.
No,
and
really,
Oh
Huma,
dear.
I wouldn't think you would be such a action fan, really.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
I'm
can't
just,
watch
you know,
action
can't?
films, leave me
She
with a
can't,
headache
yeah, she really
Oh,
can't.
you haven't?
and low blood pressure.
Really?
I feel like I
Transformer 1,
took part
2,
in all
3,
the
4,
action
Die Hard
myself.
1, 2, 3, 4. You haven't watched any of those movies?
Well, actually,
she's
to
really
make a
missed
confession-
something.
No, to
Faheem.
make a confession, I saw the latest Die Hard movie.
Was it nice?
At the cinema, yeah.
Bruce Willis?
I did enjoy it. Yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed
So
that.
you don't fancy the romantic movies and the typical love stories that they have.
Not really. No,
No, it
not
actually
anymore.
it also depends on the age. So now it's not the age to watch romantic
last-
movies, I think.
What does that mean now? My age? What's he talking about? I mean,
I think
Come
he's
on,
right.
I'm-
I
see,
think
he's
he
right.
means that you're, you know.
I'm talking about journal people who are at this age. Not
Okay, that's a
talking
very
about you.
diplomatic
see,
statement
now
there.
this, you are sitting next to me.
You are not old.
We
You are
both
not
of us will
so
be
old.
going. Not
You are
so
not so old. You are just
Not
you are
so
just
old.
60.
60.
Just 60.
Listen to me, Aryan, we will be both going upstairs to the newsroom, right? And I've watched many these action-filled movies, and I'm going to throw you right from the top to the bottom, from the window, all right? And
May
just
God
you
help
watch and
me.
see.
Yeah, you better say a silent prayer right now.
Not so old. Oh my God!
I remember I was saying this to somebody today.
I'm in major.
Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I read that.
So hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. You do not want to get on the wrong side of a woman when it comes to age. Especially.
Yeah, I'm in major denial. You know, I'm never going to accept
No,
the age factor.
look,
Sorry,
age
I'm not
is
like you
just
know. A number.
how you feel. It's how
yes,
you feel.
that's the main thing.
Age is just how
It
you
depends
feel.
on your
It's-
heart.
Yes,
if you are,
exactly.
If your heart is old,
Yeah.
then you are old.
Yes.
Even if you are 10 years. And
Yeah.
if you are 60 years.
Looking at me, 60 years. Right?
And
You
you-
there
No,
when
no,
I was
no,
born.
You are,
your heart is just 10 years. 10.
Well, she's nowhere near 60 at all, so we don't
Yes,
have to worry about that.
nowhere.
He's
No
just,
way. I'm
you
very,
know,
very far
not,
off.
not
But you
even
know,
close
Shabnam,
at all.
You know, there's this other thing about, you know, this is, I often say it because I find it very amusing also, you know. It is true, you know, your heart, it should be very
Oh,
young
yes,
and,
it
you know,
should be.
though you are growing bald and you have white hair and, you know. But there are men, you know, who who grow very, you know, who are old, very old men, and you know, it's like just, you know, very big tummy, and they're bald or whatever, or they have white hair, and you know, and they go and they're very happy in, you know, young company, and
Yeah.
they say, because my heart is young.
Yeah.
So
And
what
it
does
is.
that tell you?
Well, isn't that a good thing?
Oh, really?
That's something positive.
That's a very positive thing.
It just shows that men never grow old, Huma. That's
In their
all it
minds?
is. Minds or hearts. I mean, they're in denial all for the whole of their life. They never get out of the little boy syndrome.
So
That's what it shows.
who are
Is
the-
that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There'll always be.
So I won't
a
term
little
them as
boy.
the lecherous old men then.
Oh, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You should. Yeah.
I shouldn't. Fahim is going to be, I think, one of those then.
Oh, yes. It's never bad to be energetic, is it?
Yeah.
energetic
I
and
agree.
good. Like all the time, as soon as I enter the newsroom, hey everyone, good morning.
Yeah, good morning in the evening does
Yeah.
not sound good at all. And we have this constant feud going on, which is about to turn into a world war soon, where Fahim is corrupting everybody and telling them to say good morning at different
Well, I
times
have a- I
of
have
the
a
day in the
complete
evening.
philosophy
And
behind
no,
that,
if somebody
Shabnam.
comes and says good morning to you when it's evening and you're tired, and they come along with a breezy good morning, what do you feel?
Really, that time becomes morning for that person.
Really?
Yeah, really, because
See?
You don't find it
That's the whole
irritating?
philosophy behind it.
You don't
Shabnam.
find it
it really
irritating?
affects,
Fails
it really
to
affects on his
understand the
aesthetic sense.
philosophy.
It really affects on his aesthetic sense, and that person becomes feeling that it's morning and it's the beginning of the
totally
day.
you're-
understands
But to some
my
extent-
philosophy.
You're so gullible. I mean, Homa, it's
There's
nighttime.
no point
You're
of being
tired.
gullible here,
And,
Shabnam.
he comes and says good morning.
Right.
That really make you feel like it's morning?
Well, when he came in just now, and it's like late afternoon, and he said good morning, and I said, hey, it's afternoon. But the first feeling I got is like, you feel kind of like fresh, like, it's like morning time and the day is just going to begin. So I didn't know that this was an old habit of his of, doing
Right.
that.
And because when we go on air with this program, it's, evening. So, but when we do this recording right now, this is sort of like afternoon time. So anybody who's getting confused watching that, that's the story
Did I even
behind
say
that.
good morning in the afternoon? I mean, it's
You
just like,
have,
if
you
somebody
have messed
asks
up
me.
everybody's sense of time.
Okay,
I mean, life is difficult enough as it is. And then here comes Fahim. Hello, everybody. Good morning. At 11 o'clock, you
And
have the
see,
bulletin.
when somebody asks
listen.
me, how are you?
Yeah.
I say, just like a breeze of spring.
How often have you said that?
Yeah, that's true.
Not-
Fahim, tell me one thing. When you come out from this program, or when you come here to this program, always it is
There's a
at the
huge
evening.
difference, yes.
Evening. So why don't you say here good morning
On the
In the
program?
program.
and in the program? Yeah.
Yes.
Because wherever
Tell
you,
us about
wherever
that.
you
Why
meet
do you
us,
not say good morning to everybody, even though it's late afternoon now that we're
Well,
early afternoon?
as I said to you yesterday, Shabnam, that I say to my friends because I want my friends to be as enthusiastic as I am,
Right.
because I have a whole philosophy behind it, and you need to you need to open your mind to all the philosophies of the world.
Right. Fine.
Yeah.
And tell me the sense behind this. You've had the 10 o'clock bulletin. I mean, you've had the bulletin since 6 o'clock evening. You've had the 6. You've had the 7. You've had the 8. You've had the 9. And then you have the 10, which goes on for nearly an hour. And then after that, you're waiting for the 11 o'clock bulletin so that after doing that, you can
And
go
I
home.
never say good morning to you at the end of the day.
And along come people in for the new shift.
Right.
And then they all
yeah.
come and they say, good morning.
Okay.
And then that really takes the cake. And that makes me really
want to bash them up. Right.
No, him mainly,
No,
because
for him.
he's corrupted them.
Well, corrupted is a very,
Strong
very
word.
vast and strong term. Yes.
Well, she's very truthful also, you can't deny that.
Well, she is, yes. But right before the program,
I
you
mean,
were
we
saying
girls
don't
have
lie
to side
Fahim
with one another.
Shabnam.
Huh?
Right before the program, you were saying don't lie to Fahim Shabnam.
No, she's not lying.
No,
About
he asked me a question.
she's,
Yeah.
she's
And,
just
uh,
giving us the information.
Yeah, just
When
giving-
he asked a question and I said, no, you don't have that problem.
Yeah.
And you said, don't lie. Because,
So she can lie at times.
no,
yes.
that wasn't lying.
Just
that
to
was
be
what I
chivalrous, you
thought.
can lie.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
Okay, who needs a knife and a gun?
Quite a
This
few
is
of
now
us.
going to be the 4th World War.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the segments that we do in the program that we've heard from people that they enjoy, the feedback that we get. Mainly, the one of those segments are the mispronounced words
Because
that we
people
do.
tend to mispronounce words in
Abundance.
huge, in a
And-
dynamic manner.
And let me make a point here. It's not just people who, for the people who, English is not a first language, the native speakers who have been,
true that.
brought up, and the, people in the West, even they don't know, and they're mispronouncing words. So, this is such a huge dilemma. So, I don't know, do you have any favorite mispronounced words that you hear all the time, and you think, oh my God, I wish I could get people to say this right? Huma?
Yes.
Let's take the word floor, or they use floor for
Now, which floor are we talking about?
We are
What's the
talking about
spellings?
the floor, which is the ground.
The floor.
The ground
floor,
floor.
the floor.
Right,
This
floor.
one.
And the flower. Oh yes, and they pronounce. Oh yes, the flower. The flower is a flower pool, a plant,
Ah,
right?
right.
And they call the flower. Then there's the atta, the wheat,
Yeah.
that ground wheat is called flour, I think. So I think they
One of them
use-
is floor.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
the-
what do
Flour
they
and
do really
flour.
is I'm getting confused myself.
No, the ground
use-
wheat is mispronounced as floor, as in
Floor.
the flour
Floor.
mills.
Flour
right,
mills.
right,
Right?
Whereas
right.
it's
They're
flour
supposed to be
mills.
flour.
Absolutely, right.
And the
So-
flour is something that women
Yeah.
love as well.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, when men love flowers too, to look at, I'm sure.
just to look at, women love to have it.
Yeah, that's
you know.
true. Yeah, and then aren't enough good men around to give them flowers, are there, Huma?
Here, yeah. No, there are some, on special days, they will give you flowers. I mean, if they know what's good for them.
They better do. So that's a very interesting, combination there.
And,
Flower
yeah.
and floor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
floor and flour. So another segment that we have, which is quite informative for many.
Let
we
me add
haven't
some-
asked
let me
Aryan
add
for
one
his
word here.
mispronounced, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Most of the people I have heard here, they pronounce the word, mispronounce the word. For example, in our area, the people pronounce one word, that is business.
Business.
Business. To
Ah.
business, they say business.
Business.
They
Ah.
pronounce it with Jim.
So
with
the
J.
S is
Yeah.
substituted with,
With a
a
J.
J.
With J.
So let's talk about another part of the program that people usually like as well, idioms.
Yeah.
So any idioms, favorite idioms that you have?
Yeah, like there's many cooks spoil the broth.
They certainly do.
Okay, now there's another one that contradicts this one.
Ah.
It's many hands make light work, something like that, right? So they contradict
That's true.
each other.
And both are
They
true.
do, and
if you
both
look at
are
them.
true.
Both are true.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's
right.
another one which
Depending
I'm forgetting
on the
right now, but
situation.
they also contradict one
They
another.
do.
But
They do.
there's this.
As Fahim said, they're probably specific to a certain
Yeah, I mean, like if I'm
situation.
cooking and if many people are getting in my literally cooking,
That's so
and,
true.
and somebody of you're working and
Yeah.
other people are around you, you just cannot work like
You
that.
can't.
I'm
Sometimes
sure
you do it
Shabnam
alone
can
better
very
than,
well relate to that because she herself is a very good cook.
Aryan, you and any favorite idioms you have?
Favorite idioms that maybe you cannot have your cake and
Eat it
eat.
too. That's a good one. And everybody wants to have their
Yeah.
cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
That's
You always
true.
want to
No,
have your
actually,
cake.
almost.
I want to have my cake, yes. I definitely want to eat it, but
Yeah.
who wouldn't?
Fahim,
Yeah.
I think you should keep your jabs to yourself
All right.
right now. There are
Okay,
two women.
we could go on talking forever and ever and ever till the cows come home. But we can't do that. A, because there are no cows here, and B, because we are out of time. So I want to say thank you to our wonderful guests, Huma and Aryan. It was lovely having you on the show, and we really enjoyed all the chit-chat with you guys.
Absolutely. And well, since we're winding up the program, I'll tell you how to contact us. You can email us on MYE, the acronym for Mind Your English, @btv.com.pk. Follow us on Twitter @MindYourEng and join us on our Facebook page, that is facebook.com/MindYourEnglish. Yes, you can drop in your suggestions, your feedback, your comments, whatever you like. All up to you. And until we meet next, mind your English.